right? Without a cyclic graph, I cannot reach every other node, right? So exactly, it has to be. So basically the thing is we need to find out subgraphs that are completely directly cyclic, right? So that is how we would be finding out these strongly connected components in a particular graph. Okay, so basically what we need to do is we need to shrink every strongly connected component. And once we have this meta graph, uh, that particular meta graph, and what I mean by the meta graph is this particular set of this particular graph where we are just connecting the strongly connected components to each other, right? Okay, so we got this graph from this particular larger graph which had multiple cycles. Can this meta graph ever be cyclic? Yes or no? Can this meta graph, so let's say that can there be a edge from D to A in that order? Why not? What would happen if I do have an edge from D to A in this case? Anyone? It creates a new cyclic graph. Already should have been found. Exactly. So if I do have exactly, Taha not exactly, Brian Akins said, Taha, note carefully, it is not a new SCC. We can just combine A and D into B and E as well to create a larger meta graph. Right, because if we can reach from D to A, then I can also reach A from B as well. So I can go B, D, A, or I can go E, B, D, A. So all of those nodes together become a new strongly connected component, and these strongly connected components are not the thing, right? Okay, so you guys are correct. No, no, you were correct. And another SCC is being formed, but in place of these three meta nodes. Okay. So every directed graph, you can think of it as any directed graph, cyclic or acyclic, is a directed acyclic graph of its strongly connected components. Once we divide it into its strongly connected components and represent it as a meta graph, then every directed graph can be represented as a directed acyclic graph. So that also means that when we are talking about graph connectivity, that is a two-tiered approach. First, you would actually search the entire metagraph for your for your overview of the graph, and then if you want further details, you would delve down into a particular meta node and then look more carefully inside that particular cyclic graph. Right? Okay, so now comes the question as to how we can find strongly connected components of a directed graph. And guess again, guess what? Depth first search can be used to find strongly connected components in a particular graph. So in order to find the strongly connected components, we need to figure out and we need to talk about a few properties that we have already discussed before. But if you remember, if the explore subroutine is started at a particular node U and it terminates at once it terminates, it will cover all of the nodes that are reachable from U, right? So uh, so in that particular scenario, uh, if I start from a particular node, in that scenario, I can reach all the nodes from that particular U vertex, and that basically gives me a component. And let me give you an example. Let's see. Give me one sec. Okay, so as I was saying, coming back, my bad. Uh, so if we explore a particular node that lies somewhere within a cycle and is connected with multiple nodes, in that scenario, it would detect all of the nodes that are connected within that cycle and not care about any other nodes, and that will get you, that particular tree would get you the strongly connected components of that particular graph. So imagine when we talked about this particular graph here. So here we said that once we start exploring, if we started exploring from here, in that scenario, we would cover all of those nodes, and these nodes will be covered later, right? So because we are using DFS and because we are using directed edges, we end up having a forest of DFS trees, right? Okay, so now if we can find a particular DFS node or a strongly connected component, uh, we need to figure out what that sink is. So once we start from a sink, and if we can explore the other way around, then all of the components that connect to the sink basically gives you the strongly connected components, right? Now, essentially, we need to figure out two major things. The first thing is I need to know what a particular which node is a sink or not. And second thing that I need to know is how can I find out the first sink, because remember that sinks are essentially generated from a DFS tree, but there is no guarantee that a particular node will always be a sink. Well, there will be a sink, but there is no guarantee that we can have a source that can connect to a particular set of nodes. Give me one sec. Okay, let's come back to this particular. All right, there should not be a sink here. That is okay. It's weirdly what. Give me one sec. Okay, so now that if we run DFS on this particular node here, we know that in this DFS tree, this is going to end up as a sink, right? This is going to have a post number that is pretty small. Now, if we start our DFS from this particular node, and then we increase, in that scenario, I would be able to figure out all of these strongly connected components, because I can go directly to A, then to B, and I would have this particular set of nodes that basically comes back to my node and tells me that this particular subgraph is a strongly connected component, right? So essentially what we need to do is figure out which is a sink and which is a source. And it's a bit confusing for me moving around, but I'm just figuring out a way to explain this better. Okay. Highest post number, finally, okay. So the node that receives the highest post number in a depth first search must lie as a source for a strongly connected component, right? So it will cover the entire thing, and that follows because we talked about this, that the highest post number would basically be the parent of a particular node that has a backage that would come back, and that would give you the entire strongly connected component. Now, if C and C prime are strongly connected components, then there is an edge from a node C to a node C prime, then the highest, then in that scenario, C would basically be covered after we cover the entirety of C prime, right? So C prime would have a post number because there is an edge from C to C prime. C prime would get dealt with first, and then we would come back to C. And so any node in this particular C would have a higher post number than that particular node C prime. Right, that essentially comes from that child node and parent node relationship, where if we have a connection from this strongly connected component, everything is connected. Let's just say this is a meta node. If we have a meta node here that connects to another meta node here, that maybe connects to other nodes there. In that scenario, the post value of these set of nodes will always be smaller than the post value of that particular node, right? Because we need to deal with all of those nodes first. And once we are done with this, since an edge goes from here to here, then we return back and then we can deal with C. So you can think about it as a strongly connected component can be linearized by arranging them in the decreasing order of the highest post numbers. Okay. So essentially, what we were talking about mainly is to find us property number 2. That is, how do I find out a source strongly connected component? So something that is a source, but we need that node, instead of it being a source, we need it to be a sink. Now let me explain this better with a diagram before. So I need to explain G of R first. Okay. So we are going to discuss an interesting thing about graphs. So imagine that we have an adjacency matrix of a graph where all of those nodes are basically all of the rows basically indicate which edge, which node is connected to which node, right? Now, what if I reverse or I transpose that particular edge matrix? That would mean that essentially I am reversing all of the arcs in my graph. Right, so that is how we get transpose. Now let's look at an example here. Now, let's say that I start from, so this is my graph 1, 0, 2. This is a cyclic strongly connected component. We have 3 and then we have 4. Now, if we had started from this particular, if we had started from this particular node here, 1, then we would have covered 0, we would have covered 2, we would have covered 3, and we would have covered 4. So all of these nodes would be covered if my starting source node is 1, correct? Now imagine if we had started from 3. And now think of in terms of DFS forests or multiple DFS trees, right? So imagine if we had started from 1, as I said, we can then cover 0, let's say. From 0, we can go to 2. From 2, we return back to 0. And basically from 0 again, we then go to 3. And from 3, we go to 4, right? So this would be the entire path that your traversal will take, and it will explore all of those nodes connected here. Now, let's say that instead of doing this, we start our search from number 3 instead, right? So if we start from any of those nodes 1, 0, or 2, we would again be covering this entire graph. Now, if we had started from number 3, in that scenario, we would cover 4, but we won't be able to cover anything else. So we have 3 and 4 as